Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the University of Toronto Scarborough introductory presentation for the University of Toronto Fall Campus Day Virtual 2022. I'm so pleased that so many of you have taken the time out of your day to join us to learn about your options at the University of Toronto, and specifically right now to learn about the fabulous Scarborough campus of the University of Toronto. My name is Micah. I am a student recruitment officer from University of Toronto Scarborough. I've been working here for about 20 years. I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. I love the community. I love feeling like I'm surrounded in the most amazing and brilliant people in the world at any given time, with incredible events and activities and things happening all the time, all around me. It's a great place to be, and I love being able to connect with esteemed audience like yourself to give you some information about that. So we're going to begin just some brief housekeeping so everybody is aware. If you have questions for us about the U of T Scarborough, please feel free to type those into the Q&A box. And I've got some great colleagues working behind the scenes who will be answering some of those questions. When I'm finished with the formal presentation, I'll be bringing my friend and colleague Gao, who will come on the screen, and we'll have a little conversation about the U of T and the questions that some of you have asked, and we'll be able to answer those live. So let's jump right into it. And of course, the beginning is the welcome to the Scarborough campus, fully understanding that this is an integral part of the University of Toronto, Canada's #1 highest ranked university, and consistently one of the best universities in the world. We are the Scarborough campus, so we are on the east side of the city of Toronto, approximately 30 kilometers from the St. George campus, located right in the middle of downtown Toronto. We are well known for a number of different things. We have some very unique programming, some very unique options for our students, but we are the home to the world famous University of Toronto's co-op programs for those that are really looking for next level experiential learning by doing, getting up and out of the classroom and into the real world to have some great paid work experience. And we're going to talk about that throughout this presentation. Now, some interesting things about Scarborough. Toronto is certainly one of the most multicultural cities in the world, and Scarborough is the most diverse neighborhood within that city. We absolutely embrace the cultural differences of the people in the neighborhood of Scarborough, and the University of Toronto Scarborough absolutely reflects that diversity. The culture, the differences, learning about the world, developing a global perspective, no matter what you're doing and no matter what you're involved in, is a huge part of the Scarborough experience. So we are really integrated with the land, the neighborhood, and the city. And a part of that is acknowledging that the land that the University of Toronto Scarborough operates on for thousands of years was the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work and study and experience this incredible land. Now, the University of Toronto Scarborough has some very unique aspects to it, a little bit different from some of the other universities, campuses, colleges, and educational institutions around. We are recognized as being the smallest of the 3 campuses at U of T, considering our population. With just over 14,000 students, we are very much a mid-sized campus in Ontario, but we have fewer students than the other campuses at University of Toronto. However, interesting to note, we are in fact the biggest of the 3 campuses, considering the physical space, the geographical footprint. Our sprawling campus takes up over 300 acres, most of which is beautiful green space, forested trees, incredible landscaping and gardens in between the buildings. There's this ravine trail that goes down through the woods over a river into our playing fields. So it's the campus where you have the most amount of space to explore, fresh air to go out and breathe in while getting your world-class University of Toronto education. I mentioned it is home to our formal co-op programs, and we'll speak about that. Lots of different academic programs for you to explore, and top-ranked, world-renowned professors, teachers, researchers, labs, resources, and equipment for us to totally take advantage of at U of T Scarborough. Lots of other things to cover, but let's get into it in a little bit more detail. If you were to talk to any one of the 14,000 students that go to U of T Scarborough and ask them why they chose it, what they love most about it, what they are proudest of with their university experience, you'll get lots and lots of different answers. However, we find that there are certain themes that come up. The things that people love most about that U of T Scarborough experience, the environment, the campus, the green space, the ravine, the trees, the park-like setting that we're located in is certainly a favorite aspect for many people. The community, the neighborhood, the multiculturalism, the people that you come together with and interact with and make friends with are a huge part of who we are and what we do. It is a healthy campus. It's a campus where students are active. They're not just idle, going to class and going home and going to class. They love to get involved. They love to be active. And no matter what you're interested in, whatever your hobbies are, whatever you love to do in your spare time, whatever you like to think about, if it's sports or the arts or music or anything, you're going to find that vibrant scene at UTSC. Of course, we are a part of the University of Toronto. So the quality of the education and the programs and the professors and the courses and the resources, services and facilities, that U of T reputation, the legacy of getting this world-class education is very much available for all of our students, similarly to students from all three campuses at U of T. And perhaps because we are a little bit smaller, because we are a little bit more modern, we do tend to do things in an innovative way, always looking for a better way to learn, to teach, to use technology, to use the equipment available so that we're constantly broadening our horizons and learning more. Inspiring inclusive excellence is a very much integrated with who we are, our identity, our culture at the Scarborough campus, the education and the programs. We inspire you. We are inclusive of everyone, no matter who they are and what they like to belong to. And you will find that this is a place of excellence across the board, no matter what it is you like to pursue. So what do you want to pursue? What will you study? What are you interested in learning about? Let's explore some of the options at UTSC. All of the programs that are available lead to one of these three degrees: an honors Bachelor of Arts, an honors Bachelor of Science, and of course, our world famous Bachelor of Business Administration. So let's break it down to see what types of programs you might find within those degree areas. Now, all of our programs are put into these categories. When you're applying, you're not necessarily applying exactly to a direct program, but to the relevant admissions category that that program is in. So probably the hardest part would be to choose which one of these admission categories you're mostly interested in, that you think you're going to enjoy. Now, there's lots of freedom and flexibility after you submit your application. Once you get started, some students come in and they change their mind, or they explore new things and discover new areas of interest. You can mix and match and combine different programs, even from different categories, but you do have to apply to one of them. So those arts programs are broken down into a few options that you see in green. Our fabulous business programs leading to the BBA degree are the ones you would find in pink. And all of the amazing science programs are the admissions categories that you see in blue. So students would choose one of those categories and apply accordingly. There are some unique program options available at the UTSC campus. We do partner with Ontario's oldest original College of Applied Arts and Technology, none other than Centennial College. And we offer three brilliant programs where students get both a University of Toronto degree and either a diploma or a certificate from Centennial College. These programs don't take longer to graduate. You're still completing them within 4 years. However, directly from high school, you could get into these joint programs, exploring paramedicine, U of T's original journalism program, or new media studies. So those are things that you might not have heard about, but certainly you might want to explore. We do have the only double degrees available at the entire University of Toronto. So this is a little bit different than doing a double major. Students at any of the campuses at U of T can pursue a double major, combining one program with another program, and over the course of 4 years, you get one degree, even though you focused on 2 different programs. That's common. What we offer is double degrees. They are meant to be taken over 5 years, not 4, but you would get both degrees in that 5-year period. A very exclusive Bachelor of Business Administration, BBA, specializing in finance, together with a Bachelor of Science specializing in quantitative finance within our statistics program. That's a unique one. A lot of students are asking about. We also have a different double degree focusing on psychology and English, leading to the Bachelor of Science in Psychology and a Bachelor of Arts in English. Now, further to those double degrees, we have a handful of combined degrees, which segue seamlessly into different masters. So you can get a Master of Teaching directly after your Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, a Master of Accounting and Finance. We have the Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science that leads to a Master of Engineering, Bachelors of Science and Masters of Environmental Science, and a Bachelor of Science leading to a Master's of Social Work. These are programs where we've really partnered with the School of Graduate Studies or with the Ontario Institute for Studies and Education and the relevant faculties, allowing students to really get the best of both worlds, segueing into that professional or master's level. Now, as I've mentioned, we are home to the U of T Formal Cooperative Education, or co-op. So this is unique to UTSC. These are programs that are identical to the non-co-op version. So academically speaking, there's literally no difference between a co-op and non-co-op program. However, for students that are in a co-op program, there are a lot of added advantages and benefits kind of pushed into that academic experience. These are direct entry, so you can apply directly for a co-op program. However, it's also possible to apply to co-op at the end of first year. So if you didn't know about it, you weren't sure of it, if you didn't know you wanted it, or for students who perhaps weren't admitted to a co-op program at the beginning, they can always get into co-op at the end of their first year. They are very flexible. The work terms sequenced with the study terms, in between study terms, you get to choose when you're ready to work or when you would like to go to school. And we work with all the employers you can imagine. Well over 500 partner employers right here in Toronto, the big banks, the accounting firms, different levels of government, hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, community and social services, you name it, wherever people are out there working, we've partnered with them, giving our students the opportunity to get some fabulous experience. There's certain skills that you can only really develop when you're working, test driving your career. So all of those transferable skills you've learned at school, you can implement in the real world, developing those new skills that you can then bring back to the classroom. And of course, best of all, co-op work terms are paid, getting competitive rates and wages while you're out there working. So with over 50 different co-op programs in the arts, the science, and business, there's certainly something for everyone, and we encourage you to take a closer look at that. Now, similar to the other faculties and campuses at University of Toronto, you have the flexibility to really explore and discover all that we have to offer, mix and match areas that you're interested in, and combine any programs with any other programs as you wish. You might decide that there's one subject area, one program that you're more interested in than anything else, so you might decide to specialize in that program. But perhaps you're interested in more than one program and you'd like to combine one program with any other program, which is possible if you wish to do a double major in both of those programs. Now, a minor is just a small cluster of courses that make up one program that you can combine with a specialist, or you can do double minors together with a major. The idea is, with so many programs to choose from, you can have any one, any two, or even up to three. And best of all, you don't need a detailed master plan laid out step by step of everything you're going to do in the future. You've got time to come to the University of Toronto Scarborough, explore what we have to offer, learn about the system and see how it works, network with people to learn about what they're doing, and decide at the end of your first year what the combination of programs you are mostly excited about and interested in, and declare it at that point in time. So that freedom and flexibility and the number of options that you've got available, I think, are one of the most exciting things to talk about. So let's walk through briefly the application process. And I know I saw a question a little bit earlier on, because sometimes it's confusing about what campuses you can apply to. How many times can you apply to the University of Toronto? How many different programs can you apply to at one particular campus? So I'd like to kind of break that down in just a little bit of detail. Remember all of those different categories I showed earlier. There's the arts categories, the business categories, and the science categories, the admissions categories. With all of the programs available at the Scarborough campus, they are all broken down into those various admissions categories. And the rule is you may only apply to one and no more than one. You've got one choice for all of the different programs at the University of Toronto Scarborough. Now, that being said, whatever you choose, whatever you think you're most interested in, whatever you think you're going to enjoy, whichever category has that program that you're really excited about, once you're there, once you've been admitted and you accept that offer of admission, you still have all the freedom and flexibility to take courses from other categories, to do a double major from one program in one category, and if you wish, a program from a completely different category. So it's entirely flexible once you're there, but you do have to be fairly specific on your initial application to the university. Now, one other thing that confuses people a little bit, there are some programs that are literally available at all three campuses of the University of Toronto. There are some programs that perhaps are available at two of the three campuses at University of Toronto. And there are lots of programs that are very unique and exclusive and only available at one of the three campuses. The other ones don't offer it. If you happen to find that a program that you're interested in is offered at more than one campus, you can apply to the exact same program at multiple campuses. For example, all three campuses at U of T offer psychology. We all offer computer science. We all offer business and many other options. If you wanted to apply to the same program at all three campuses, you can do that. But if you want to apply to different programs at the same campus, there are some rules and limits that you need to be aware of. So all of those programs at Scarborough campus, you may choose one, you may apply to the other campuses, but again, once you're admitted and you're there, you still have the flexibility to go in any possible direction you wish. Now, there are a few programs that will ask you to complete a supplementary application. Most programs do not require this at all. That means that most programs at U of T Scarborough are looking at your academic performance, your grades, the average that you've accomplished in your previous education. We will look at that to determine if you are competitive versus the other applicants to that program, and we will admit the most competitive students. Now, for anybody applying to one of our world famous management programs, whether it's a regular direct program or a co-op management program, if you are applying to our incredibly unique co-op international development studies program, if you are applying to either of our double degree programs, if you are applying to our joint program in paramedicine, where we combine partner with Centennial College, management, co-op international development, double degree, and paramedicine do require a supplementary application. Once again, every other program does not require this supplementary application. What is a supplementary application? It's a certain platform that allows you to tell us a little bit more about yourself other than what we see in your application to the university and what we see in your academic transcripts. So questions on the supplementary application will be like, what types of activities are you involved in? What do you do when you're not in school? Are you involved in any sports or clubs or music or coaching or tutoring or anything else like that, giving back to the community? Do you have any leadership experience? When have you ever been in charge of something or anything or anyone? When have you ever taken the initiative to do something that needed to be done and nobody else was doing it? Those are the types of things that we will look for in the supplementary application for the few programs that require it. The information that you provide for us will be considered together with your academic performance. So we will look at your grades, we will look at the profile, and we will offer admission to the students that are most competitive and the best possible fit for those programs. Now, one further step that some people will need to take, other than the supplementary application, for applicants only to the co-op management and international business, another very unique program only available at U of T Scarborough. In addition to the supplementary application, if you've been shortlisted based on that profile and based on your academic performance, we still have additional questions for you. We will schedule an interview where we will ask you a few more questions just to make sure that you are the person that completed that profile, that those ideas are your own, and that you are truly a good fit for that particular program. So that's one additional step only for the applicants to co-op management and international business. So just a timeline, and this is very consistent with the other divisions, with the other campuses at University of Toronto, but there is a couple of different steps that you should be aware of. For example, step number one, you do need to submit your application. Now, the application is firmly due January 12th, and that's common across all of Ontario. That's the Ontario University's Application Centre initial deadline for you to submit an application to university. And of course, we share that. However, we are at the point where we are encouraging students to apply early. Now, there is no requirement to apply early. As long as you apply by January 12th, it's equal consideration for admission. But the earlier you apply, the more time you have to review your application, to submit any types of profiles or any supplementary forms that might be required to make sure that everything is good and accurate, and to be considered for an early offer of admission. So it's simply a suggestion to you to apply early, but the deadline is January 12th. After you submit your initial application, we will send you an email acknowledging that we received your application. Thanks for your interest. Now it's time to get to work, and we will link you to your Join portal, the Join U of T applicant portal. This is where you will see all of the detailed instructions, all of your next steps, everything you need to know, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and deadlines by which you have to complete all of those steps. So do you have to complete an awards profile? It is optional. You can choose to complete one if you wish. If you don't, that's fine. You're automatically considered for a number of merit-based scholarships. But if you complete the optional awards profile, you will then be considered for a bunch of other scholarships that are not automatic consideration. Depending on your situation, there might be that supplemental application, which we talked about, and there's sometimes additional documentation, such as an English proficiency test for anyone who might be considered a newcomer to Canada if English is not your first language. If you've been living here or going to school here for less than 4 years, there's a good chance you will be asked to complete an English facility test. Most of those types of documents will be due by February 1st. However, always consult your Join applicant portal to make sure you know exactly what you need to do and whether or not there's any other deadlines that you need to be aware of. Now, U of T Scarborough absolutely guarantees a spot in residence in our student housing for all first-year students. However, there's a separate application, a separate process, and there is a deadline to apply for that residence. Our deadline is March 31st. Now, if you complete that application, it's non-binding, there's no fees, there's no obligation, you can change your mind later on, but only by completing that application by March 31st are you guaranteed a spot in our student housing. The next step of the process is to receive your offer of admission. How exciting. This one's not up to you. This is more up to us. And this is based on how complete your file is and how competitive you look when we're assessing your file. We do release offers of admission. We make those decisions on a monthly basis, starting as early as January, which is a fairly small round. Some people get an offer in January, but not many. We do it again in February. We do it again in March, which is probably our largest round when the majority of our students will get an offer of admission. We make a few more offers in April, and we'll make a few more offers in May, filling up every last available seat in all of our programs. So between January and May is when you can expect the offer of admission. After that, you accept your offer. You can make arrangements to register in your first year courses, get to know the campus community, get to know the amazing resources that are waiting for you, and get ready for university to begin in September. Now, making the transition, going through that process, planning for your first year, obviously there will be some important steps, and there's a few things that you should know about. So I did mention that we do offer residence. I did mention that there is an application which is due by March 31st. For anybody that is thinking of living on campus, it's nice to know that it is a fully supported community, that the apartments and the rooms are self-contained, fully furnished. Each unit has a fully equipped kitchen, so you're able to prepare your own food if you wish, or you may choose to purchase a meal plan, which is optional at the Scarborough campus. There is a fabulous new residence that will be opening soon. It's well underway. It's still under construction, but soon in the next year or two, you will find this great new dormitory on campus. Lots of community building events, lots of activities to do, and like I say, lots of support. But other than residence, there is a few different initiatives that you should be aware of. We do at Scarborough have our own financial aid and awards office, our own financial aid assessors. We do administer the OSAP program. We do offer our own scholarships. And of course, we have our own financial aid, bursaries, and grants. So lots of money that's available just for Scarborough students coming into U of T Scarborough. And if you are thinking about getting a bursary, applying for a bursary, if you're worried about your financing, if you're curious about all of those scholarships, then you can start to get to know this particular office. Now, your success is one of our highest priorities, making sure that you are at the university doing well, feeling well, you're happy, you're healthy, you're engaged, you're involved, and you're getting great performance through your schooling. Your support is one of our highest priorities. So depending on what it is, what you're looking for, depending on a number of different issues, we've got a wide range of student support services in place, and it's great to really get to know them and know who they are and where they are and what support they offer to students, because sometimes you might see something you didn't know existed and all of a sudden you think, wow, I could really benefit from that. That would make a difference. What do I need to know? And you can then reach out and get to know them. So coming to campus, getting to know us is very, very important. Now, one of the most important things about this whole experience, we want you to have a great time. We want you to have fun. We want you to really get to know this community, make a lot of friends, get to know a lot of people, and just own it. Belong to it, feel at home, feel comfortable when you're on campus. So right from before you even get started, throughout the beginning of your first year, throughout your first year, there's the orientations, lots of sports and recreational programs, lots of different clubs, arts and cultural events, student media for you to get involved in, outreach off campus, out in the community, making the world a better place. Over 200 clubs unique to the Scarborough campus, over 1,000 student-run events that you can participate in, just to go out there and see what people are doing and participate in that and just have a great time. So as I've mentioned before, you certainly want to just get comfortable with it, get to know us, and see what this community is going to be like throughout this process, choosing which university will be the best fit for you. Now, last but not least, we definitely want to be there for you. We want to help out. We want to be able to answer your questions. We want to help and help with this transition. whatever your questions may be. If you're curious about student life and that student experience and what students do in their spare time and what types of clubs people actually do get involved in, we do have this initiative to meet our students. Obviously, a lot of people will have admissions questions. So if you would like to send us an email, there's our email address. You can send us a message anytime about the admissions and prerequisites and cutoff averages, and admissions scholarships or anything like that. And we're here to help answer those emails. Of course, we put a lot of effort into our website, making sure it's always up to date with all the relevant information and everything you might possibly need to know. And we do encourage you to come and take a tour of our beautiful campus. Now, if you're remote, if you're living far away, if you're not comfortable coming in person just now, we still have some great interactive virtual tours. However, we are also doing real in-person tours Monday to Friday, and I would love to see you on campus soon. So this does conclude our formal presentation, but we still have lots of time left to answer your questions, to make sure that you really understand these options you have available at U of T Scarborough. So at this point in time, I'm going to stop sharing this presentation, and I'm going to invite my colleague and friend Gatherman to join me on screen.
Awesome, thanks for that, Micah. We've had a very engaged Q&A going on with a lot of students just wanting to get more information about U of T Scarborough. And one of the questions that we had come through was, how big are your first year classroom sizes at U of T Scarborough?
That's a great question, and it's certainly a very common one. And I know a lot of students are looking at that. I think ultimately people are a little bit nervous when choosing to go to a large university, because we all seem to think to ourselves, large university probably means large classes. Large classes probably means not much interaction with the professor. And wouldn't that mean I don't really get my questions answered? And it really seems to be this downward slope of experiences. And we just love to point out that it's absolutely not like that at all. Now, when you're coming to the University of Toronto, no matter what program you're in, you will be taking various types of classes. You're going to have lectures, but for each lecture, there's usually a corresponding lab or a tutorial or a seminar. Now, the lectures are not usually meant to be interactive. That means in a lecture, you're not always going to be breaking up into groups, talking with other people. There's not a lot of Q&A between the students and the professor. There's not going to be debates or anything like that. It's typically where you come in, you sit down, you listen, you get that information, that theoretical foundation, the broad knowledge that you need for when it really matters, when you're in the labs, the tutorials, or the seminars, discussing and debating and negotiating and dissecting and really getting your hands dirty talking about that content. That's where things need to be very interactive. So to answer the question, yes, sometimes you will have some large lectures. It is inevitable. And I think most universities would agree that a large lecture is one of the most easiest and convenient ways to give that broad information to a large number of students. Now, at the Scarborough campus, the largest classroom that we have seats 500 people. There's one of those. There's a number of 300 seat rooms. There's a number of 200 seat rooms, and it goes down from there. But these are significantly larger than what you might be used to in high school. Now, as I mentioned, you might be in the 500 seat room. You look around at all of those people, but when the lecture begins, you can record the lecture, video record it, voice record it, type it up. You can take handwritten notes, whatever works for you to be able to get that information. But then when you go into the seminar and you're with 20 people and you can ask all the questions you want and interact and do all of those things, that's where things do tend to get a lot smaller and more interactive. Now, the other thing is first year is where we use those large classes a lot more often. They do tend to get much smaller in second year and even smaller in third year and even smaller in fourth year. Lots of opportunity to truly interact and get to know your faculty and your professor and have that experience that's so important for your learning. Trust me, we do take that very seriously.
And I could take that, give you my personal experience on that. My first year class size was a bit larger, and my last year class size was about 20 students. So definitely happens at U of T Scarborough there. So thanks for that, Micah. There's a lot of interest in our co-op programs, and a lot of students were asking about how you apply. So you apply directly on the OUAC application, like Micah mentioned. You would indicate that you're interested in co-op, but there's a student asking about how many work terms are offered.
Okay, that is a question that there's no one simple answer. There are a number of different programs that offer co-op, and some of them do operate a little bit differently. Some of our programs, for example, our management program, our computer science program, offer 3 4-month work terms. Now, the academic program for all programs to get the University of Toronto degree involves 8 semesters as a full-time student. So if you're in a management, a computer science program, or any other program, you're going to be a full-time student for 8 semesters. Now, normally, the way that works is students would be in school for 2 semesters a year for 4 years, fall, winter, and then you do that again for 4 years to get those 8 semesters. When you're in a co-op program, you've got up to 3 work terms that you can sequence in between those study semesters. Now, I think it's important to point out that U of T Scarborough is trimestered. That means you can either be a full-time student or you can be doing your work term at any point in time during the year, including the summer. So the fact that you can do 8 semesters academically plus 3 work terms in a 4-year period of time, and it doesn't take longer to graduate, is very unique to Scarborough. Now, some of our arts programs and most of our other science programs would have work terms, co-op programs that are 2 4-month work terms. So it's not the 3, it's the 2, but you're still getting up to 8 months of great paid work experience kind of built into that 4-year program. So it does vary from program to program, but it's usually either 2 or 3 4-month work terms. We do recommend that students sequence it so that they don't do 2 work terms in a row. And we recommend that they use their work terms in different companies, different employers, different jobs, different positions, developing new skills, networking with different people. Our opinion is that's what's going to work best. However, you are given the flexibility to do this pretty much however you want. And it's not uncommon that a student has a great work term, they love it, they enjoy it, it's a great experience, they really get along with the employers don't want to lose the student. And so sometimes instead of a 4-month, they will do an 8-month work term, basically gluing 2 together nonstop. Of course, at the end of that double work term, it's time to come back to school and get caught up on the courses. So there's a lot of different options. It's very flexible. You've got the freedom, and you will be connected with a co-op coordinator who you're working with every day throughout your 4-year degree to really make sure that you're going to be ready for that and that you're planning for that and you know what to do and how to do it.
And thanks for that, Micah. Next, I think we'll go to a question about combined degree programs. There was a student that was asking about how that kind of works. Like, can students apply directly from high school? Do they enter that combined program right off the bat? If not, when does that really happen? And for the master's component, can students still apply for that, after completing their degree, for example? And this particular question was about the MT program, so the combined teacher program.
Okay, well, great questions. I'll do my best to answer it. If I miss any details out, please chime in to help out. So most of those combined programs that lead to a master's degree, it's nice to know they're there. It's nice to know what the options are. Sometimes people have these plans of what they want to do. So they would apply to the university, they would apply to the program that partners with that master's degree, but they're not applying directly for that combined program. Once you're at the U of T Scarborough in the relevant first entry program, at a certain point in time, you kind of indicate that that's the direction you want to go in. You would then declare that this is what you intend to do. And to get towards the end of the 4 years, like in your 3rd and 4th year, you would begin taking courses at that master's level that kind of overlap the undergraduate. And then once you've kind of wrapped things up with the undergraduate, you just pick up where you left off to finish the master's degree. Now, if somebody applied to a program, did the 4 years and decided they wanted to go to grad school and get a master's degree, that's the traditional route. That has always existed and that still very much exists. You can still do that at any point in time, yes. The benefit of these kind of natural segue combined programs is just that you know in advance, it facilitates the admissions process, and you do take courses that count towards both the undergraduate and the master's degree, therefore saving a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. I think that probably summarizes it, but feel free to fill in the gaps if there are any.
Yeah, no, that pretty much wraps it up completely. I know, especially with the Masters of Teaching, a lot of students ask about a concurrent teacher education program. So this is our equivalent at the University of Toronto, the combined degree program. And that Masters of Teaching is in replacing the Bachelor's of Education. So we don't offer the 2-year Bachelor's of Education anymore. So if you're looking for that teacher qualification, the Master of Teaching gives you that qualification, and it also gives you a master's degree within the 2 years. So not a bad compromise there. And like Micah mentioned, you would apply. And if you don't get in through the combined degree program, you can also apply for those masters afterwards once you complete your degree. So a lot of options available there. So thanks for that, Micah. But we'll go into the next question about taking courses during summer school. So they're asking if taking like a prerequisite like grade 12 advanced functions during summer school, if that's going to be preferred, or how the university kind of assesses that for admission.
Okay, good question. Another common one. I'm glad it came up because a lot of students do ask these questions. Our policy is if you've taken a summer school course, either between grades 10 and 11, between grades 11 and 12, that's fine. We don't differentiate, we don't discriminate. If it's a ministry granting institution and you've gone to summer school, no problem. You have nothing to worry about. When students plan on taking a summer school course after grade 12, directly before starting university, that's a little bit risky because we're not necessarily going to wait for the final results before making an offer of admission, and some of our programs do fill up quickly. So I don't recommend that. Now, the other thing I want to point out, not that it was immediately asked, but it's typically the next question that comes up, is how do we handle repeated courses? And sometimes a student took a course, they didn't do very well, they're not pleased with the results, so they want to take that course again. And when that happens, oftentimes they can't do it in their regular daytime school, so they go to night school or summer school or virtual learning or something like that. So sometimes students will say, how do you handle summer school? And I'll say, oh, we don't differentiate. It's fine. It is what it is. Oh, great, because I'm repeating an English course in summer. Wait a minute, that's a different policy. If it's a repeated course, we do give preference to students that did not repeat. So if we're looking at all of the students that apply to a particular program and we calculate your average, we'll fill the program with the best available students, especially those that didn't repeat any courses. And only if there's going to be space left in that program might we consider somebody that was repeating courses. So it's not a great strategy to plan on repeating a course. Sometimes people say, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like my teacher. I think I'm just going to coast through it. It doesn't matter what mark I got because I'm just going to repeat it later on. Don't plan on doing that. If there's extenuating circumstances, if there's something going on behind the scenes that you want us to know about, or if you can just work hard and do best the first time only, then that probably might be to your advantage.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Micah. Next, we have a very interesting question about scholarships.
Okay.
Students are wondering whether they should apply earlier, knowing that scholarship consideration is based on your admission average at the time that you were admitted. So a student's wondering if their average is not as strong, is it better for them to apply a bit later before the deadline versus applying earlier? Say like they receive an offer in that first round of admission, but their average isn't as strong as they think it would be, maybe a bit later on for a later round of admission.
That is an interesting question. And I love the way people's minds work, always looking for whatever's going to give them the best possible advantage. I would say if you are not entirely pleased with your grade 11 results, if you don't feel like you did particularly well in grade 11, and you want as strong a chance as possible based on your grade 12 grades, just make sure you're applying by January 12th. If you apply by January 12th, then you have equal consideration for admission. Once we get your transcripts, it's more likely that we would see grade 12 evidence rather than just the grade 11, and we can consider you for admission and scholarships at that point in time. Certainly don't apply after January 12th because then things are closed up. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else I can say about that.
don't have anything else to add on that too. It's really based on your personal preference in this situation, right? If you feel like you'll be eligible for an offer of admission with your grade 11 grades, but you want to give yourself better chances with that scholarship, like Micah mentioned, you can push it off a bit, but don't go past that deadline date for the application, right? Typically, the earlier you submit the application, the better, just because it gives you more chances with that offer of admission. All right. So I think that covers most of the question. I believe we are reaching to our time period right now. But I'm also going to provide a link to our Fall Campus Day in the chat and for any future online sessions for those of you that aren't here in Toronto. If you want to connect with myself, Micah, any of our colleagues at U of T Scarborough, we'd be more than happy to connect with you in person or online. So feel free to check out that information online, but I'll turn it over to Micah to wrap things up.
All right, well, thanks so much, Gao. Thanks for everyone working behind the scenes. It's always a delight to connect with audiences, whether we're standing in the same room as you talking in person or we're connecting virtually through the Zoom. I thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to learn about this fabulous University of Toronto opportunity, to learn about the different aspects of the U of T, and for joining us for the last 45 minutes to learn about the Scarborough campus at the U of T. It is a delight to talk about it, to answer your questions. Thanks once again. Thanks for those working behind the scenes. We are going to shut down now, and in approximately 15 minutes, our incredible colleagues from the brilliant Faculty of Arts and Sciences at the St. George campus are going to take over. Once again, enjoy your day, everybody. Thanks very much, and we'll see you later. See you on campus soon, I hope. Bye-bye.